Hi, my name is Reno, and this is my client Adriana. Okay, Adriana, so today we're going to be doing a VO2max interval test. So this is generally used on advanced clients and athletes, but for the purpose of the assignment, we'll be using you. And in a previous graded exercise test we did, we determined your VO2max was 40.3, which is a good health benefit rating. And now we're going to be using that VO2max result to determine the intensities that we use for this test. Okay? So we've done your warm-up now. You feel good, you feel ready. And now this is going to consist of, we'll be doing 3 sets of intervals, 6 minutes long. But 2 minutes is going to be at 90% of your VO2 max, and 4 minutes will be at 30% of VO2 max. That's kind of like that relief period that you get from that. Okay. So for the 2 minutes, the first 2 minutes will be 5 miles per hour and 1.5% grade. And then the 4-minute relief periods will be at 1.5 miles per hour and 1.5% grade. Okay, and I'm also going to be recording heart rate with the heart rate monitor there and RPE here every minute. All right, and then after that, we'll be doing an active cool down for about 3 to 5 minutes. And this is essentially just to bring your heart rate and blood pressure and everything back down to normal. Just reduce the risk of cramps and muscle soreness, stuff like that. And then just following that will be the passive recovery, where we'll just sit and interpret the results and stuff like that. Okay? All right.
Oh, wait, because I can't hear it.
Okay, step on ready, good. Now I'm just going to be gradually increasing the speed up to the 5 miles per hour, okay? So this monitor is just a little bit slower than this one. Still about 3 more minutes of the relief periods. And after this, we just have one more interval. So 2 minutes, good. So if it did help, raising your arm did help stretch it out, good. Any cramps or anything? Good. We're approaching the first minute, so what do you say our keys at? Perfect. 64. Just one more minute, you're almost there. You're doing great. Mindset issue. Move that closer to the camera. I think you can hear me. 1, 2, 7, 6. We can get 10 more seconds. The home stretch. Home stretch. Okay, we're approaching the second minute of the last interval. What do you say our keys at? 15. And our rate. 180. All right, now we're going to be going down to the final interval period. Yeah, I think so. We're 10 more seconds. Okay, so this is the first minute of the final interval. So what would you say our keys at? Around 13. And heart rate? 150. 152. Double check. Yep. Okay, good.
I can drive crazy. So I thought it was You said 14? I heard 10%. Oh, she changed it. Yes, she did.
Okay, heartbeat. And heart rate? 138. Okay, Adriana, so we've just finished up the test, and I'm just going to quickly go over the results a little bit. So again, obviously this was a pretty intensive assessment and test.
Yes.
Probably not as hard as your maximal test that we did, but harder than something like the sub-maximal test. But since we used your VO2max from the graded exercise test, we determined the intensities, which I felt were appropriate. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would.
I think based on your heart rate, just general responses from the test, everything seemed appropriate. Like you responded with normal heart rates.
I think it was hard, but it felt good.
Yeah, and like I said, we started you at the lower end of the intensity ranges and relief period ranges, since you are kind of in between a beginner and an intermediate. So start you at a lower end range, and then from there we progress. So after we do this session for a little while, then we can look at progressing from there. So we can raise the intensity that we use for those 2-minute workloads, and we can also look at shortening the amount of relief period minutes that we use. So we could do something like 2 minutes of workload and 3 minutes of relief period instead of 2 and 4, stuff like that. So those are the ways that we're going to progress from this point. But like I said, everything from today, I think this was a really good spot to start you at. All your heart rate responses look normal, looked healthy, and now we're just going to take we're just in the first minute of your passive recovery, so we'll look at your heart rate again. So it's about 116. And you feeling pretty good? Having that longer relief period brought you back down to...
Yeah, definitely easier to just kind of...
Yeah, exactly. So now we'll just wait until the second minute, and then we'll take your heart rate again. Okay, so we're just finishing up the second minute of passive recovery now. So what's your heart rate at? We're sitting at 110, 111. Okay. All right. You're almost back down to that normal value, baseline value. So we'll just give it one more minute and we'll see where you're at. Okay, so we're just finishing up the third minute. So what's your heart rate at? Sitting at 104. Okay, great. So now you're pretty much back down to resting levels, just slightly above. And again, one thing I did forget to mention earlier with the introduction was this test again is what we use to improve your VO2 max. So we first use a graded exercise test to determine your VO2 max, which we did a couple days ago. And then we use the VO2 max to determine the intensities for this test, which I felt were appropriate. You did very well with them. And then from here, we can start using those methods of progression that I mentioned earlier to raise your VO2 max. So we're working at an intensity just below or at your VO2 max, and then kind of just manipulating your body to force itself to improve and trigger those adaptations. So again, great job today, and we'll do this type of session at these intensities for a little bit longer, and then we'll start to add in progression from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.